Good morning. Woo! This is a good one today. Hello, everybody. Very good, Aaron. Very good. Hello, everybody. How's the studio audience today? Good morning to the friends here. Hello. Well, I'm glad that you're here, and you picked a really good day to be here, and you picked a really good day to watch because you've heard me babble on about this for a couple weeks. I spent the weekend, it's funny to say this, but I spent a good chunk of Saturday with Priscilla Presley. And before I get to that and talk about that, and here she is right here. Well, I'll just get to it right now. Saturday, I hosted her show, Elvis and Me, at Grand Casino. Thanks to our friends at Grand Casino in Hinckley. They treated us very well. And I was excited. Here's what I'll say, and the interview's coming up. Here's what I'll say right now. I was excited to talk to Priscilla Presley because of my love of Dallas. And for those of you who don't know, she was on Dallas, which is my favorite TV show. She was Jenna Wade. But you know what? I walked out of that interview with such love and admiration and respect for this woman. And I'll tell you why coming up a little bit later, but I love her so much. And I think we kind of fell in love. I think just maybe a little bit. I don't want to say I think we fell in love. Because she tweeted, here's a little tweet exchange we did last night. I said, thanks to my new buddy, Priscilla Presley, for letting me take part in the evening. And then Priscilla replied last night, thank you. It was so much fun being on stage with you. Hopefully, we'll have the opportunity to do it again. Much love. Yeah, P. Because I told him, I said, as she's traveling, if the other moderators cancel, you fly me in and I'll do it. I'll go wherever Priscilla is. Before we move on, I also want to say that it was very sweet. Most of the Jason Show crew was there. My buddy Eric, who did a phenomenal job with the editing. You'll see that piece in a minute. My friend and executive producer, Jeff. And I really do want to say thank you to the fine folks at Hinckley, to the fine folks around that area that were at the casino that night. It was really kind of overwhelming. So many people were so very nice to us, coming up and telling us how much that you love our show. And I don't want to be goofy, but that really means a lot to us. And the fact that you guys like the show and you make us part of your morning routine, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. It really means a lot to us. We do. Now, people were so gosh darn nice at the casino, and I wasn't even giving them money. I was just, So then yesterday, too, another friend of ours, take a look at this. I was asked to host an event for my buddy Louie Anderson for the Metro Deaf School. This was their benefit. A wonderful, wonderful school, doing amazing work. Louie has a family connection to the deaf school. Louie asked me to introduce him and some special guests. I wasn't feeling real well last night, but I would do anything for Louie. I would walk on hot bricks for him. So it was my thrill to be there. Louie will hopefully get on the show again very soon. And you can watch his show right now, Baskets, on FX. I love you, Louie. I love you. And thanks to the fine folks at the Metro Deaf School. Okay, we have a big show, so let's not waste any time. Grab the coffee. It's time for the hot dish, everybody. Let's go. Spoon, stir, dish. There we go. We do. And I'll tell you, we have 30 minutes. Yeah, there's so many great TV to talk about. So it's 30 minutes of nonstop dish. So you've heard me say that there's too much TV to watch on Sunday night, and that's the truth. That is the truth. So let's start with the second episode of the FX show, Feud. Documenting, that's right, I love this show. Documenting the relationship between Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. Now it seems the leading ladies may actually be getting along in this show. Look at this.
I said that. I agree with Betty. The writing doesn't begin to capture how women get under each other's skin. The intent is there, but the execution is lackluster.
You work on that, Bob. See what you can do.
We'll anxiously be awaiting a rewrite.
I like that, anxiously waiting. Isn't that a pretty picture? They're finally getting along.
To think only last week they were wishing each other dead.
Now, that was near the start of the episode, and that truce did not last very long. This episode is really about rumors. And back in the day, some of you will remember, her name was Hedda Hopper, and she was the gossip columnist in Hollywood. And this episode was about how rumors start, and you see one rumor start about Joan Crawford that Joan thought Betty said. So then Joan went to the competing gossip columnist and gave her a story about Betty Davis. So then they started fighting, but it was really about, yeah, they had their differences, but about how the men in that business were manipulating the women to fight against each other. And that's really what this was about. I mean, yeah, the ladies had their differences and had the differences through the 30s and 40s and 50s, but they really were puppets to these men who, wanted them to fight for publicity. Well, the creator of Feud, Ryan Murphy, talked to Entertainment Weekly about the show and what inspired him to come up with the concept. He referenced reports of feuds between female co-stars, never men. Murphy went on to say, I pulled some quotes that I thought were interesting. Murphy said, quote, I went online today and read 2 articles that Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon were fighting on the set of HBO's Big Little Lies. Ryan says, I know that is an absolute lie because I'm friends with both of them. And he also read articles that said that how Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon were fighting on the set of this show. And he said, absolutely not true. They could not have loved each other more. Ryan says, quote, and I love this. Look at this, ladies. Why in our culture are fights among women stars so attractive, and why don't they ever write it about men? I think the core problem is economic. It's a cultural phenomenon that's disturbing but true. Absolutely. Yeah. I always use this reference. Back in the day, you used to always hear the fights between, Barbara Walters and the other, or going on for leads. Very women. That's kids have to look like see how reality fighting for weeks. And last night, the lady sat down in Hawaii, find in Hawaii, to find that common ground, and well, it didn't go anywhere. Look at this.
Is that last night was definitely ugly. And, when you were crying, whether I felt it was real or fake, you're upset because of something that I said because I felt it was true, and now the truth is hurting you. So now you crying, you upset.
Let's be clear.
Etc.
Please stop trying to turn my tears and me being upset like I care about you at this point. I'm over Portia. Miss Girl Code. You constantly breaking the girl code. You dogged your own best friend out. Then you made up lies about me. Well, I guess I won't learn by example from you, whether you made it up or you say.
Yes, I gotta tell you. Portia's driven me nuts for several seasons, but this season she just seems to be acting like this just to ramp up the drama so she stays relevant on the show. I am totally team Candy on this. If you don't watch the show, let me just tell you to keep you into the conversation. Portia basically said, that's Portia right there for those who don't watch the show. Portia basically said that Candy and her husband tried drugging her one time to have a little affair. I said this last week. There's reality show drama and then there's libel. You can't say that about people. I don't care what show you're on. It's tacky, it's tasteless, and no wonder Candy feels that way. I don't know. I'm team Candy. Team Candy. Well, next in the dish, everybody, more TV. I'm still loving The Good Wife spinoff on CBS All Access. That's her streaming site. The Good Fight. Another episode came out yesterday featuring the return of a fan favorite. Look at this.
Our firm needs a lawyer, and Alicia once gave me a piece of advice. When in trouble, hire Elspeth.
Alicia Florek? I like Alicia. How is she?
Searching Alicia Keys.
Ada? No. Cancel.
I'm sorry.
Fantasia's out sick, so I have this thing. Ada? Cancel, Ada. I think it's still trying to recognize my voice.
Volume down.
So, what's the problem?
What's the problem? That's Carrie Preston playing the quirky but brilliant lawyer, Elsbeth Tassioni. If you watch The Good Wife, you're smiling right now because Elsbeth was a recurring character that everybody loved. Now, another one that came back was Matthew Perry. This is my feeling. Every good drama needs a good villain, and The Good Fight was really lacking a good villain until right now. He returns as Mike Kristeva, who was a villain in The Good Fight, but now he's like 75% more evil and more gross in the show, and he is spectacular. And I love the fact this episode proved, if you are a Good Wife fan and you're on the fence about The Good Fight, this episode will bring you to the playground. It is smart. It is just as snappy and as sharp as The Good Wife. The writing is good. And I'm going to say it, we're 4 episodes in. I still do not miss Alicia. And I love Juliana Margulies. I love that character. But Christine Baranski, Cush Jumbo, who plays Luca, more than fill the void left by that main character. Again, do you really want to spend $6 more on a streaming site? No, but if you're a Good Wife fan, here's what I would suggest you do. Les Moonves won't like this. Wait till the whole run of the show's over, this first season, then spend the $6 and binge watch it on a weekend. That's what you do. There's my little the audience. Consumer tips from Jason. Lots more to come. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us. Back in a moment. Coming up next, our 30 Minutes of Hot Dish continues from Hollywood. TMZ has the dish on a gross encounter Justin Bieber had with an overeager fan. Then, are you like me and have no idea what to do with that March Madness bracket? Well, we are all getting a lesson from an expert. And at 10:45. You know, there's a lot of weird stories out there. My sit-down conversation with my new buddy, Priscilla Presley. And nothing is off limits. She talks about her recent family drama and, of course, the one and only Elvis. So get that cup of coffee. It's good, and it's coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. My Monday group here. Well, our 30 Minutes of Dish keeps rolling along this morning. On Monday, we get an extra serving of Hot Dish, courtesy from our friends right there in the heart of Hollywood at the TMZ headquarters. Joining us live is Gary Trott. Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, so Bieber, more video of Bieber. He's in Australia, and he had, I guess we could call it what, Gary, an interesting encounter with a fan?
Yeah, so, you know, he's made it pretty clear before that he doesn't like being bombarded, even though he is one of the biggest celebrities in the world, and wherever he goes, he's going to be bombarded. But he's in Australia. He stopped to get, like, some street food, and some girl came up to him, apparently a little too close for comfort, and he got really upset. He was basically saying, look at yourself. He said, you make me sick, which is obviously very, very bad to say to a fan, but he felt that this person was kind of violating his personal space. But he made up for it a little bit later because he got a gigantic yacht and filled it with hot models. So some fans are okay to have contact with, you know, as long as you're an Australian model. The other ones, not so much. It's, you know, Bieber, he's always going to have his outbursts, and you know, you just kind of, you got to roll with him.
Yeah, Gary, his weekend sounds very similar to yours, right, buddy? You do the same thing. You're on a yacht and...
Yeah, exactly the same thing. It's just a yacht by myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, NBC finally told us who's going to replace Nick Cannon as a host of AGT. Who is it?
Yeah, it's going to be Tyra. And a lot of people are very excited about this. You know, we had a big debate in our newsroom on if she's the right person to do this. You know, she's usually more of a judge than a host, but obviously she has a huge following. People are very excited. Now, while the comedians fell through, Marlon Wayans was asking for too much money. Brandon Michael Smith was the other guy they were looking at, and he just wasn't interested, didn't want to take over, you know, the role from Nick Cannon. So Tyra is going to come in. Now, we were just curious, you know, how much she's getting paid, because Nick was making, you know, several $1 million a year. So, you know, I got to imagine Tyra made that plus possibly more because they were scrambling last minute to get somebody. So we'll see what happens, you know, for the season. But NBC's obviously very excited and glad they got somebody, you know, right in the nick of time.
Yeah, you know she's making more. She has to. I mean,
absolutely.
She's Tyra, for heaven's sake. I think
she's a diva.
She's
a diva.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
And she's great at that. I think she's going to be great with the contestants too. Finally, a sweet moment for some young dancers in LA this weekend who got a big surprise from a little visitor. Who was the visitor?
Yeah, this is amazing. So Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, has an outreach program she does with young women, and they went to go see a performance at the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater out in LA, and Beyonce came and surprised everybody afterwards, the dancers backstage.
Wow.
You have this video is so amazing. People are literally falling to their knees crying for Beyonce. I mean, it's adorable. She takes photos with everyone, has a great time. But just the joy that Beyonce brings to a room is intoxicating, and it should be experienced by everybody.
Well, I'm sure you're sitting there doing your rehearsal, just going about your business. Probably the last person you expect to walk in is Beyonce.
It's absolutely, and we had this debate. Maybe you guys can rule on it. Who would you rather have, Beyonce or Oprah? And if you have those choices to come visit you, well, who would you pick? And honestly, we were pretty divided on that. I mean, I think that's the top tier of who you can choose.
Yeah, Gary, it's no debate here. It's Oprah here. It's Oprah. Yeah, without a doubt.
Oprah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love her. I love her. I have a bracelet. What would Oprah do? Yeah. Gary, thank you, my friend. Have a good week.
Take care. See you guys.
You can watch TMZ on TV. Check your local listings. Hey, before we go, don't forget, I was mentioning our audience is sensational today. Aaron's revving up. They were jazzercising in that last commercial break. We have tickets available for Tuesday and Wednesday, for tomorrow and Wednesday, and we have a great show, more of our Priscilla Presley interviews. So if you want to get tickets, go to our Facebook page and click tickets, and you can still get in for tomorrow. Still to come this hour, though, big news for Game of Thrones fans as our 30 Minutes of Dish continues, plus a star sighting at the Mall of America. Who was it? I'll tell you. And later, why Julie Louis-Dreyfus has a big reason to cheer during the upcoming March Madness. We'll have that story, plus my Priscilla Presley interview coming up. Stay with us, everybody. Back in a moment. Monday morning. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, yes. Well, much more to talk about as we continue our 30 Minutes of Dish this Monday morning. The rumors, that's right, 30 Minutes of Dish. The rumors about Game of Thrones are true. This is one of the #1 trending stories on the old internets. The show creators were in Austin for the uber-popular South by Southwest convention this weekend and confirmed the reports. The show's final season will only be 6 episodes. And when you add that to the upcoming season, upcoming 7 episodes for season 7, that means, Game of Thrones fans, there are only 13 total episodes left of the entire show. Season 7 will debut this summer on HBO. People are very, very sad about all of this. Well, but again, before we move on, I'll just say this. I read this great article about Walking Dead and how people said, this critic said, if you want The Walking Dead's ratings to go back up, you have to put an end date on it, just like Lost did. And I think that's brilliant, because then people will come back to the playground because they know there's an end in sight. Right now, it feels like we're going to be running from zombies for the rest of our life. But anyway, well, next, and you'll never know who will make a star appearance on the show's upcoming season. This is another big trending topic, none other than Ed Sheeran. That's right, Ed Sheeran's going to Game of Thrones. Now, it's not clear who he will play, but we're going to find out this summer. I said it'd be really funny if the characters just walked in and Ed's there playing the guitar. That wouldn't really be. Thank you, Aaron. No one else in the audience watches Game of Thrones. Anyway, from TVs to movies, anyone waiting to see the sequel to the biggest movie of all time will have to wait a little bit longer. I did a big eye roll with this story. James Cameron just admitted, listen to this, everybody, Avatar 2 will not be released next year as expected. Now, let me give you some perspective of why this is an eye roll. The first movie came out in 2009, and it broke all sorts of box office records. A sequel was announced in 2010, but keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed. James blames the delay on the fact that he's working on 4 sequels at the same time. It's not clear yet when the first sequel could hit theaters. So not only will it not be next year, but James Cameron isn't even telling us when. By the time this movie comes out, no one's going to care about it. Well, maybe. Well, we are going to get a taste, however, of Avatar at the upcoming Pandora Land, set to open at Disney World later this year. And that's going to be at Animal Kingdom, I think, either in April or May. I think in the late April. So, girl, I'll be going, and I'll take some pictures for you. It's time to see, speaking of Dish, it's time to see what's trending on Instagram this morning. What are the celebrities up to? First up, a great picture. Look at this. Does this setting look familiar? This is from Chris Rock following his stand-up gig at the Orpheum Theater in Minneapolis. That's right, Chris says, yeah, look at that audience. Mr. Rock said, amazing time in Minneapolis. Thank you all for being with me. I know my friend Dawn Mitchell from Fox 9 Sports was there last night. Chris played a sold-out show at the Orpheum on Friday night as well. Well, next, another celebrity sighting, this time at the Mall of America. Look at this. Listen to the song I'm playing. It'll give you a clue. Fans of Dance Moms and Sia will recognize her. That's Maddie Ziegler, who visited the Mall of America yesterday to sign copies of her book, The Maddie Diaries. Okay, this girl's like 10 and wrote a book. I was barely had a paper route at 10 years old. But anyway, it was a quick turnaround for Ziegler, who was at the Kids' Choice Awards the night before. Please don't. She's a kid. She has energy. Don't feel sorry for her. Next, Rebel Wilson shares this photo from the set of the upcoming sequel, Pitch Perfect 3. Do we really need 3 of these? But okay. Yeah, okay, people, I know. I'm the only human on earth that does not like that movie. I know. Please don't email me. That's her with co-star Anna Kendrick trying on some hair extensions. Rebel's caption, wish you were hair. Finally, check out this. Thank you, audience. I'm here all week. Tip your servers. Finally, check out this picture. Can you guess who it is? Look at that man. That's John Stamos, everybody. Heating things up. Thank you, ladies. He says a little Sunday welding, #power tools. Come on, like John Stamos is welding something. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. It's a lot of oil on him. You can stay connected with our show on social media. Here's our addresses: Jason Show TV on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search for Jason Show TV. And like I said, if you want tickets for the show this week, get your girlfriends, get a group, and come see me tomorrow and Wednesday. We have slots open. Yeah, we have good shows too. I think some pretty good prizes. Well, it was my chance to go one-on-one with literally a living legend. Later, my interview with Priscilla Presley, and let me tell you, she addresses everything from the divorce scandal involving her daughter, Lisa Marie, to reports Priscilla herself is in a new relationship with the famous singer. But first, thank you. But first, many are excited with the Gophers returning to March Madness tournament. I admit to knowing nothing about basketball, so my producers, making me talk to an expert about March Madness. It's my lesson when we come back. Back after this, everybody. March Madness. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Well, March Madness is in full swing this morning as people start filling out their brackets following the release of the brackets for the NCAA tournament. I know people, I guess, were up really late last night. Well, I know as much about college basketball as the wooden hot dish spoon on my desk. I know nothing. So it's time to bring in the expert to help me, and many of you understand what's going on. Joining me is a Yahoo Sports bracketologist. Give it up for Brad Evans, everybody. Hi, Brad.
Merry March Madness, Jason!
Merry March Madness! But first of all, what in the name of Oprah Winfrey is a bracketologist?
It's somebody that spends a lot of long hours in a dark room watching basketball. There's no other way to put it. I'm a big hoops nerd.
That's very fancy, Brad. That's very fancy. Okay, but let's get to it. We've got to talk about the Gophers because, hello, we're here in Minnesota, who are a number 5 seed, which that means absolutely nothing to me. But anyway, how far can they go?
I actually had Minnesota win a couple of games. I think they're going to taste sweetness this year. Old Goldie the Gopher there. I know, it's shocking. It's shocking to some people. In Vegas right now, believe it or not, the opening round match that they have against Middle Tennessee State, a very sexy pick for a lot of people. It's a pick 'em. So there's no advantage for either one of those teams in terms of the spread, which I found a bit shocking. Like a lot of people, maybe not in your neck of the woods, are going to be taking the Blue Raiders, but I think the length, athleticism, and all of a sudden the resurgent offense of Minnesota, I think is particularly Jordan Murphy, is going to pay dividends not only in the opening round, but marching on the round of 32 and eventually the Sweet 16.
Oh. I sure wish I understood what you just said, but it's fine. It was like it's like Portuguese to me. But anyway, okay. So Brad, you and I and you really, you're going to help people like me. I'm the conduit for people watching that have no idea. So if someone is watching and they want to fill out their bracket, but they have no idea which teams are good, what do we need to know? Give us some of your picks.
Well, first off, to sign up for our game, because we're giving away $25,000 in cash to the overall winner, and it's free to sign up. Just go to yahoo.com/tourney to do so. Again, yahoo.com/tourney. But in terms of, hot tips that are out there, there is no foolproof strategy. It really isn't. I like team balance. I'm a guy that's married to numbers and numerics. So if you're into that kind of thing, we got some great articles to help you out on yahoosports.com to give you those sleepers and Cinderellas and some of those busts to avoid as well. But I recall 5 years ago, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, I interviewed our overall champion of the Yahoo Tourney Pick'em universe, and it was a woman who was a librarian in Oregon. She didn't know a lick about college basketball either, Jason, and she picked based on mascot names, whether it was a masculine mascot name or if it was a dog versus a cat. She always went with the dog nickname, and that year the UConn Huskies won the national title, and she won thousands of dollars.
See,
pretty amazing story.
I was going to say, Brad, I was either going to pick based on the mascot or on the costumes, the wardrobe that they wear. That's a pretty good strategy, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you could go with a color scheme if you're really into it. I mean, I'm a big fan of the red, white, and blue. That's why I'm picking Gonzaga this year to take it all.
Okay, I'm writing that down. What did you say? Gun what?
Gonzaga. It's
Got
up there in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm doing it. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put the Gophers in there somewhere. Okay, so next year we got to do this again. We got to make this a tradition, Brad. I count on you now every year to do this.
All right, so whatever I tell you, do the opposite, and you're probably going to win.
Done. Brad Evans from Yahoo Sports. Thank you so much, buddy. Go to yahoo.com for more. Well, one celebrity who is very excited about the tournament is another one of my faves. This is a woman. This is a show filled with my favorite women. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Get this. Her son, Charlie Hall, there they are. Look at Julia and her husband. Is a sophomore at Northwestern and plays for the basketball team. And Northwestern, listen to this, just earned their first ever trip to the tournament last night. Julia, and her husband are both Northwestern grads and were at the Big Ten tournament watching their son this weekend. She was tweeting, remember, guys, take a good look at him. If you don't remember, he was on SNL, I think for 1 or 2 seasons with Julia. She was tweeting up a storm from the game. And she shared this on Instagram. Look at this, everybody. Saying, we're going to the dance, boys. We're going to the dance. Doing the famous Elaine dance from Seinfeld. I love her. By the way, side note, Veep is coming back in a few weeks. I'm very excited. I love that show so much. Again, people ask me, where should I eat and what should I watch? You should watch Veep. So funny. A lot of curse words, though, so not for the kiddos. Just saying. Well, I mentioned my exciting weekend earlier, getting to interview the one and only Priscilla Presley. She doesn't do many interviews, so this was big. After the break, hear what she has to say about tabloid reports on her love life. Plus, she does address her daughter's divorce and custody battle. Don't miss it. It's coming up next. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back. Well, you heard me talk about it last week, and over the weekend it finally happened. I got the chance to talk one-on-one with Priscilla Presley. She was at Grand Casino in Hinckley, hi Hinckley, doing her show, Elvis and Me, all about her relationship with the King. I hosted the event with Priscilla, and before that, she allowed us a 30-minute one-on-one conversation. And as I said a few minutes ago, Priscilla doesn't often do one-on-one interviews. So this was a big deal, and nothing was off topic, including the fact that she's making a lot of headlines lately. Take a look. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for asking.
Oh, please.
My pleasure.
Well, I know that you're very private, so the fact that you're very generous to do this and to talk to me, so, and we'll get to my fandom in just a second, but I was thinking, and you and I were talking on the phone about this, you picked a fun time to do this, because you've been in the headlines lately.
Yes, that I have. Yes.
Is that weird for you? I mean, you've been in the headlines most of your adult life, but is it weird for you?
Yeah, it still is. It still is. Being in the limelight, I was never comfortable being in the limelight. It's just so invasive, and I've always been private. I've always led my own, well, I haven't lived my own life, but I like to lead my own life and do the things I I love to do with my grandchildren, with my children, and not be under a microscope. And that's the hardest thing, because then stories are made up, and then you look in the paper and you go, my God, that is so wrong. But and I just love coming and going as I please and not being chased around.
Say what you will. You and I talked about this too. Whatever you want to say to your fans about, because you know there's a lot of weird stories out there. So you say whatever you want to say about all of that to clear the air.
Well, my gosh, it's I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Every day I went by. Oh well, first we'll start. Well, I went by and I saw I didn't. My friend went by and saw the globe, and I think it was the globe that Tom Jones and I got married, right?
Congratulations.
And Koba.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for asking.
Oh, please.
My pleasure. Well,
I know that you're very private, so the fact that you were very generous to do this and to talk to me, so, and we'll get to my fandom in just a second, but I was thinking, and you and I were talking on the phone about this, you picked a fun time to do this, because you've been in the headlines lately.
Yes, that I have. Yes.
Is that weird for you? I mean, you've been in the headlines most of your adult life, but is it weird for you?
Yeah, it still is. It still is. You know, being in the limelight, I was never comfortable being in the limelight. It's just so invasive, and I've always been private. I've always led my own, well, I haven't lived my own life, but I like to lead my own life and do the things I love to do with my grandchildren, with my children, and not be under a microscope. And that's the hardest thing, because then stories are made up, and then you look in the paper and you go, my God, that is so wrong. But and I just love coming and going as I please and not being chased around.
Say what you will. You and I talked about this too. Whatever you want to say to your fans about, because you know there's a lot of weird stories out there. So you say whatever you want to say about all of that to clear the air.
Well, my gosh. It's, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Every day I went by. Oh well, first we'll start. Well, I went by and I saw I didn't. My friend went by and saw the globe, and I think it was the globe that Tom Jones and I got married, right?
Congratulations.
And Koba. What is it? What is the place? I don't know. Some place in Mexico. And I'm going, oh my gosh! And they even described the dress, and I'm like, wow! I wish I were there. It must have been interesting.
You said it was just, you guys had a meeting, right?
No, we've been friends for so long. I mean, we hang out at this friend of ours with a whole bunch of artists, and they sing, and we have dinner, and we've been doing this for years. And this particular evening, we thought, you know, let's get together and meet up with some of our other friends at this restaurant, which we did. And he picked me up because it was pouring rain that night. I don't want to get my hair messed up. So anyway, that was it. And then the next thing you know, it's all over the news. It's in Australia and in England. And you know, Tom just, you know, lost his wife last year. So it was just really getting together and getting him out and being among friends. And that's really it, just a great friendship.
Did you get a good deal on the dress?
What dress? Oh yeah, that dress. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you.
Tell me if you get a good deal. I'm sure it looks great.
I'd like to know myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. And then, I know you're leading to the other thing as well. You know, it's ongoing. Listen, it's in the courts. I do have the children. I have had them for quite a while now, and both parents see the children. They're happy. They've never been in foster care. That was the one thing that really bothered me, that was printed that they were in Child Protective Services and foster care, and that never happened. The girls are wonderful, and they're just fun-loving girls and happy, and you know, of course they want to be at home with their mom and dad, of course, but you know, we're just waiting to see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, two things I want to First, apologize for the technical glitch, the repeat. Number two, you know, if you missed the headlines, why she's in the headlines lately is because Lisa Marie's in the process of divorcing her husband. Her husband was accused of some behaviors. I'll just leave it at that if there's kids watching. And that is, that's the headlines recently that she's been involved in. But as you heard her say, her grandchildren are just fine. And out of respect for her, I didn't press much more than that. And she said what she wanted to say. However, after the break, we have much more with my interview with Priscilla Presley. We'll talk about her efforts to preserve the legacy of Elvis and her many memories with the life, her memories of life with the King. We'll have that portion of the talk when we come back. Stay with us, everybody. gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Well, many people may not remember this, but Priscilla Presley was only 14 years old when she met Elvis. It's just, and he was, I believe, 24 or 25. It's just one of the fascinating things that we talked about this weekend when Priscilla was in town for her Elvis and Me show at Grand Casino Hinckley. In part 2 of my interview, we discuss, of course, her life with the king. Let's talk about Elvis. And I wanted to start with a general question because I was wondering this. You have more than a bucket full of memories. But what rises to the surface the most? What I mean by that is when you think of Elvis generally, what's usually the first thing that pops in your mind?
His laugh. His
Really?
laugh, yes, his laugh was so contagious. You could hear him laughing and you could not stop. You had no idea what he was laughing about, but you'd start laughing so hard because he was laughing. It was contagious.
Was it a belly laugh?
It was a hearty laugh, a really hearty laugh, and his whole face just lit up. I mean, even on stage in Vegas when he'd start laughing, he'd get in a laughing kick and couldn't stop. And of course all the guys in the band would start laughing, the audience would start laughing, but they didn't even know what they were laughing at because it was a really private thing between the band members.
I love that you guys remained, you loved each other. I mean, I was going to say civil, but you guys really loved each other even after the divorce.
Yeah, we had a lot of affinity for each other. We really did. We kept our friendship, but we never lost it. Of course, you know, we had our daughter, and I wanted her to have a relationship with her dad. Of course, he couldn't see her all the time because he was traveling and touring.
You used to get mad at Elvis because he would buy her everything.
He would buy her a fur coat when she was like 4 years old and 5 years old, and you know, I just didn't want her to be overindulged. I wanted her to be liked for who she was, not for what her daddy got her. This is a problem with most celebrity children today, is they're having to walk in the footsteps of their famous parent, and it's hard to live up to that.
Elvis was legendary for how well he treated his fans, but were there moments for you and him that were overwhelming, and how did you as a couple deal with that? Because he was, I mean, arguably the most famous, most photographed person on earth. How did you remain a sense of normality in that kind of storm?
To me, I met him at 14. I didn't see him as that because he was very gracious, very normal. He was over in the Army, so when I saw him, it was him hanging out with the guys, singing and having dinner with him, and it was quite, I got to see a side of him that was just very normal. That's who I fell in love with. So when I came back to the States to stay, and when we went out, there'd be cars following us, there'd be fans laying out by the front gates or in their cars, and I didn't get it. I'm just going, wait a minute, you know, he's with someone.
Yeah, he's with me.
He's with me, right. And it didn't seem to matter, though.
It's really important to you to make sure that Elvis's legacy, that it still continues, especially for new fans.
He gave us so much. I knew what he wanted in so many ways, so I'm trying to fulfill after life, you know, what he wanted during his life.
And one of those things, preserving his legacy is something that she's really, really passionate about, and you get that sense. One of them is working with the Philharmonic. Elvis always wanted to perform with an orchestra. He didn't get to do that, and now Priscilla is making that happen. She just did a concert where Elvis's music is put with a full orchestra. I will tell you, and by the way, let me just tease this, and well, no, I'll get to that. I will tell you, I said this at the top of the show, I went in as just a goofy fan because I loved Priscilla from Dallas, which we talk about, and I'll get to that. But I walked away with just a lot of admiration because think of this. This is something that I want you to think about when you think about this woman. Again, she was 14, and she only knew life from 14 until mid-20s as Mrs. Elvis Presley. So can you imagine, because she left Elvis. She was the one that told him she was leaving. So imagine the courage to leave that life. You're leaving the comforts of that life. And he created her. He dressed her. He did her hair. He told her how to do her hair. So everything was his creation. So to walk away from that life, then on your checklist, you have to figure out who you are. You have to build a life for yourself, absent of Elvis, and then have the wherewithal to start your own career and your own business to preserve Graceland. Graceland was going under going under, and it was threatening to pull Lisa Marie's inheritance with it, and it was Priscilla Presley that had the wherewithal and the business sense to turn Graceland into what it is today. So I walked away with a lot of respect for her. As a woman, a mom, a businesswoman, she was pretty extraordinary. Well, we're not done with Priscilla yet. As I mentioned, tomorrow morning, I get the chance to talk to her about her role on Dallas. And wait, yeah. And to all my Dallas fans out there, wait until you hear what she told me that no one else knows about. We kept the cameras rolling, and my mouth was like this. Yeah, it's tomorrow. After the break, though, it's game time, everybody. 2 audience members will duke it out for a great prize coming up next. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Wrapping up the show today with a little game time. Well, it is time to play 2 truths and a lie. We like this one. I'm going to give our 2 players a list of statements, 3 statements about me, and they must determine which one is a little lie. Playing the game today, they're both on spring break. Ladies and gentlemen, Kim and Kayla, everybody. Okay. Kim, how long have you been a teacher?
A long time.
Okay, there
20-some years.
20-some. What grade do you teach?
K-5.
So what's your favorite grade?
I teach STEM.
Oh, okay, that's been
All right.
fantastic. Okay. And Kayla, what are you in college?
Yeah, I'm a sophomore in college at the U of M.
Okay. Oh, the U. Okay, here we go. Get ready. Here's 2 truths and a lie. The first round. I stole a hunk of grass from the real South Fork when I visited. I went shopping with Victoria Principal when I met her. Or I ate Caesar salad with Linda Gray from Dallas. Which one is a lie? Which one is a lie? 1, 2, or 3? Stole grass, went shopping with Victoria Principal from Dallas, or ate Caesar salad with Linda Gray from Dallas? Which one's a lie? Okay, go ahead. 3 and 1, and you are both wrong. You're both wrong. I did steal grass. I did eat Caesar salad with Linda Gray. I did not shop with Victoria Principal. Yeah, believe me. I really, really wanted to. And Linda did share her salad with me. She did. Okay, round 2. Here we go. 1, 2, or 3. Which one is the lie? My first concert was New Kids on the Block. My favorite concert is Tina Turner. And my first CD was Paula Abdul. Which is the lie? Okay. First concert was New Kids on the Block. Second favorite concert was Tina Turner, and my first CD was Paula Abdul. Which one is the lie? Kayla, we'll start with you. 2, okay, and 1. You are right.
Yay!
You are right. My very first concert was Madonna, Blonde Ambition. So there we go. Finally, quick last one. Here we go. Which one's a lie? I worked at Red Lobster in Roseville. I was fired from Caribou. And number 3, I was fired from the Disney store for not being perky enough. Which one is a lie? Worked at Red Lobster in Roseville. I was fired once from Caribou, and I was fired from the Disney store for not being perky enough. Which one's the lie? 3, 1. You both are wrong. I worked at Red Lobster, and number 2. You win the game, everybody. Here we go. Tomorrow on the show. Tomorrow, one of our favorites, Aaron Campbell from Nadia Cakes, is back making some St. Patrick's Day goodies. I'm talking to Leighton Meester from Making History, and of course, part 2 of my interview with Priscilla Presley. Go out there and be yourself, my friends, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Thank you for watching. Thanks to the studio audience. Have a good morning, everybody. See you tomorrow. Thank you, sweetie.